Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond Boundaries with Lisa Richmond. I'm Lisa Richmond, and this is Thoughtful Thursday. So, I tuned in today and I was just like so deeply connected to spirit, and I felt like I was being drawn in to receive messages. And I do this every day. Like, I tune in and I meditate and I channel and I journal the channel, and um, it's been a lot of information lately. It feels like spirit goes through spurts of like quietness and then like influx of information, knowledge coming through like straight channels. And it's almost like that's how I collect my information, and then integration, and then like kind of doing, and then rest, which is the quiet period. So, and it's like the four seasons, it's like the cycles, and everything is interconnected, right? And so, this is what Spirit wanted me to talk about today is essentially the interconnectedness of all things, and how, if we allow ourselves to work with our natural cycles, the cycles of our planet, the cycles of our system, and therefore the cycles of the universal order, everything works together as this beautiful, intricate, like well oiled machine. And when we step away from the natural cycles and the natural synchronicities of our universal order, is when we get off track from our authentic selves and our mission. And when I say our mission, it's not just like a friend said this to me yesterday, is that when we are naturally aligned with our heart space and the things that we're actually passionate about and the things that actually light us up and that we're connected to, it's so intertwined with our mission and what we're here to do, like our purpose, our divinity. Like it's all so interconnected that it's not a separate thing. It's not like what my I'm here to do on a human level of purpose is something different than the things that I love. And if that's how it feels, if you do feel that like separateness, this is the message for you, is that it's the interconnectedness, it is the oneness of all things that actually combine to make a whole. And within that whole is the answer. That's the key. That's the wisdom. That's the light. That's the guidance. And that's the like the wholeness. And sometimes we have to compartmentalize our lives in order to like make things make sense, or to move through things that maybe aren't as appealing for us. Like we need to compartmentalize our family structure from our work structure. Like, I get that. But the message is that if we actually allow ourselves to lean into our heart's desire, our heart space, and be open to receiving, we are then able to give back in full force in a way that is authentic and not draining. It's not like draining of us. It's almost like source runs through us, but we have to be able to receive it. It's all about the cyclical motion, the cyclical motion. They're like the yin and the yang, the light and the dark. Like all of that makes sense when you actually step back and look at what that looks like in an integration process. Okay. So this all started when Spirit showed me, because I was really kind of at a loss at the end of April, being like, this was like the hardest month I've ever experienced in my life. That might not necessarily be true, but pretty close, as far as energy and everything kind of coming to a halt, and planetary alignments, and I'm in Aries, and all this like crazy stuff that happened through the Aries, and it just felt like it was a lot. And I felt really constricted and up against it. I felt like I was really coming face to face with a lot of the great fears, or the resistances that I've essentially put forward. And then, like, of course I lean into spirit. That's what I do, looking for these answers, looking for this guidance system, kind of going outside of myself, which I think we tend to do a lot in these compensatory strategies, compensating for that lack of power or that lack of self assurance. It's natural for us to kind of look outside of ourselves. But this was the whole the whole purpose, like this was the whole kind of vision and understanding that I got from Spirit over the last week was, first of all, I was shown the wholeness of our universal order, like our entire universe, and how um it connects and how it communicates with everything as a system, is actually a complete reflection of ourselves. So like if you think about our actual bodies and all the like cellular structures and the DNA and the interconnectedness of all things and the fluidity that moves through and pumps through our body, and then the responses, and then the like um duties, or that each part of our body is in charge of, without looking, like it's not like the pancreas looks at the lymph nodes and is like, I wish I had your job. It's like, I know that's silly, but at the same time, it's like everything is in charge and knows exactly what it's in charge of without a better than or worse than. It's just like an intricate connectedness of all things to make a whole. And with the whole, it all runs in this fluid way without putting too much dynamics or purpose or good or bad on one thing or the other. It's just this like understanding and trust of the whole system working as a whole. But then they showed it, that being reflected onto the whole universal order of things, when it's in actuality, we as individuals are direct reflections of the universal order as a whole. And so this is really important to understand, because sometimes we can get lost with two things. Either we lose ourselves feeling like we don't matter in this whole big world, and this, like, we look at this whole universal order and we're like, who are we? We're just a speck that means nothing. When in actuality, we are such an intricate part to the whole system. And because we are all made from this universal energy and this God source that is in and carried with and played out in each and every one of us, because of that, we are all interconnected. So although we come in for this human experience, for us to focus, like I said last week, to focus our attention on like what we're wanting to manifest or what we're wanting to play out in our visionary experience, we come as an individual to do that. We're actually playing out in this universal order of wholeness. So we are all interconnected. Okay. So it's very important that we are experiencing our oneness, as in ourself, to focus on what we're here to do and connect with what the experience we're here to have, but not forget that we are all connected to the oneness of all that is. And Spirit said the thing right now to focus on, specifically for the month of May, but if you're watching this whenever it is, it's like this message is for you then, is our heart space, the love energy. And when we are restoring after a huge influx of energy that's come through and like permeated through our earth and through our auric fields and stimulated our system, now the fact that we are kind of all awakened more, like we had that big influx of energy, what that has done is it's really kind of taken off a sheet of that covering up, made the veil a little bit thinner, so that we're able to start seeing a little bit more clearly how interconnected we are, having these kind of awakenings where it can be a little rough. Like it's not rainbows and unicorns. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling and I'm seeing and I'm experiencing these things that I didn't know was possible before. But the integration process is huge. And so what Spirit said is, don't forget, number one, that we are all connected. We are all interconnected. And although we hear this a lot, it's really understanding how interconnected we all are, and the choices that we make have a ripple effect on all of us. It's cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. And to remember that if we open up our heart space and actually like talk to God, talk to our universal presence, and say things like, I open my heart in full trust of the universal order, and I open my heart to receive the unconditional love that is available for me in order to give back in the same capacity. It's like breathing, inhaling and exhaling. it is being able, and some of us have a real difficulty receiving. But if we change it into receiving through our heart space and taking in through, like, in that deserving way, and opening up our heart like a window. I love to visualize like a window, and feeling the air come in and then releasing it out is like our ability to give back for the greater good, our ability to step into our purpose in this existence is our ability to receive on an equal capacity. Okay, so it is like important, it's that important to receive as it is to give, to keep the balance, to keep our whole system working in that universal order, and trusting that everything knows what to do, and that way it signals to our mind, our consciousness, exactly what decisions we need to make and what we need to see and what pieces we need to put together, because we're being guided in such a universal divine order. We don't necessarily need to know exactly every single day the intricacies of where exactly the moon is going to be and how it's going to be lit up and the sun's and the direction to this star. Like, I mean, I can say that there's an interest in like astrology, but like every aspect of the universe, like making sure we know that it's like working properly, and the doubt that it's going to work, like, why don't we transfer that into the perception of ourself and how we are so divinely made and interconnected to reflect that divinity and that oneness of the universal order? The more that we trust that we are built exactly the way we're meant to be built, and that we're designed and we are connected in exactly the way that we need to. We designed this so that we can play out this beautiful blueprint, so to speak, of our existence. And the key to that is opening your heart space to receive from source, from the connectedness of others in order to give back, is creating that balancing act. That balance is so important. So, when you're taking this information in today, realize there's a couple big things to ask yourself. How can I create more balance? How can I allow myself the gift of receiving in an equal form to giving? How can I open up my heart to trust that the universe has my back now and always, and that I am so divinely created in order to play my purposeful part within this beautiful interconnectedness of all? I'm ready to play that part. I accept the role because you designed it. You wrote the role. So it is our ego, our resistance, that brings up any um like the resistance to receiving that or to playing it out. It's our 3D human ego that is stopping that we actually had to come in with to keep us safe from things like getting eaten by a lion or to keep us safe from like dangerous situations. Like, I get that. But when the ego comes up and starts to protect us from, releasing these fears so that we can be an interconnected part of the wholeness, we can say to our ego, I understand that you don't quite get this because this is in a frequency that's above your pay grade, right? It's true. Like, your ego can't move past 3D perspective. And so there's no better or worse than, it just is. So the more that you can release your resistance, the own self-imposed resistance that comes up to your trusting of your interconnectedness of all things, it's important for you to truly digest this so that you can live this. All right. You don't have to play by someone else's rules, and you don't have to play by a belief system that is designed in oh, there's an ant. Whoa. This guy just appeared out of absolutely nowhere. Ants are such amazing creatures. I'm talking about working together and like as a community and being your part in the interconnectedness of the whole. And ants are such great representations of that, of working together as a community and knowing that you're not too small to make a difference, that it takes this whole universal connectedness to be able to make a difference. And ants are such amazing representations of that. And I've literally not seen an ant. There's like no ants out. There's like the snow just is melting here, and there's an ant on my desk. So this is a little spirit guide. I love this. How beautiful. Thank you for coming in and saying hi. But okay, so I'll finish that off by like, this is just like, it's blowing my mind right now. Know that you are not too small to make a difference, and that your whole existence is such an intricate part of the whole existence of our universal order. Okay, so don't get lost in the whole big picture. Know that you are of importance here, and that your whole system is the universal order. You don't want the little cells that are working in your, heart just to not work properly because they feel like they're insignificant. No, you have a job. You have a very significance. Yes, there's like trillions, but like, you're really important in this whole system. You're really important in this whole system. And the more that you can lean into the trust of that you can then open yourself up to knowing that it's all interconnected. Your purpose and your passion, your joy and your sorrow. It's all very important. So give yourself a hug. Allow yourself to integrate this information, and maybe like take a pen and a paper and write down the things that you have that is coming up, that is something that's like passionate for you, something that is so important in your life that has to do with your passion, creativity, creating music, moving your body, freedom, travel, family, safety, warmth, like whatever it may be, okay? And so then write down all the things that you give back to the world, that you give out for the greater good, and see how the two actually interplay each other, because that then ripples out into like the career you have and your family dynamics and your presence in your community. It's all so interconnected, and it's also important. So know that you matter. And this isn't just like a mama saying to her kid, you're worth it. I mean it. Like, you are so important to the dynamic and the interplay of all things. And the more that you know it and live it and believe it and receive it so that you can give it, the more that our entire consciousness raises, and we all then ripple that to each other. And just like this little ant, we all play a very important role in this. Okay? So I hope that this reaches you well, and anybody that you know that might need to hear this, please share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And like, I love giving these messages. If you like this channel, please leave a comment, let me know, and it just helps this kind of keep rolling. Also, if you're looking to book a session with me, a one-on-one session, I offer like readings, so 60-minute readings. Then that's mediumship, intuitive, and life coaching. I also do energy work with sound. So Saturdays, it's Spirit Saturday, I do sound bowls, but I also do like individual energy clearing and healing using sound. So what I do is I tune into your energy. If you book with me, or you, what happens essentially is you book with me, and then you send me an email, your name, kind of like I brief what's going on. Then I tune into your energy, and then I record a message for you and an individualized healing, little healing, like 20-minute healing with sound. And then I send it to you so that you have it forever, and then you play it over and then integrate whatever the message is that I've sent for you. So it's like a little individualized energy healing session. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. All my info's in the comments, the description. The description, all my stuff's there. So I send this with so much love. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate all the love that is circulated in this channel. So from my heart to yours.